you might want to steal my world building idea for your novel to save yourself a lot of that mental exhaustion when it comes to writing your story. Now, I have talked before about how I am a dialogue-focused writer. When I get into writing my books, I am writing that conversation. I don't really worry as much about the world building. I'll drop a video on that down below. It's a really good listen. A lot of people agreed with it. And I sometimes forget to do my world building. I have to go back and add those things in. So one really easy way for me to make sure I am getting that world building and I'm creating the environment my characters are existing in is to put myself in a position where I am writing what is actually happening into my book. So, for example, when I wrote The Conspiracy of Jack Frost, it actually really lent itself to this particular topic because The Conspiracy of Jack Frost is about Jack Frost battling an out-of-control weather machine, and it is controlling everything going around them and it's killing people because the weather is clashing into each other. It's like winter one second, summer another second, and it's drama. And so I am able to sit in front of a window and whatever's happening outside at times was what I was writing inside of my novel. And I've done this in other books too. I think I did it in the Jaded duology. I was sitting and I was writing and all of a sudden it started raining outside. I'm like, that's an interesting mood. It's an interesting vibe. Let me make it rain inside of the story. Was it something that was essential to the storyline? No. But then did it play into what was happening in the story? Absolutely. So I pay attention to what's going on around me because if I can watch what's happening, I can just write it. I've done videos, and I'll link this one down below because this is a really good one too, on how I use live streams to help inform my world building. So when I was writing my mermaid series, the Siren War Saga, in one corner of my computer screen, I just put an underwater camera view of an ocean. And whatever was happening in that live stream, whether it was like calm sea waters and the fish swimming by, or there was a storm happening and you could see the rain, the waves were just like ripping that poor seaweed all over the place and whipping it left and right. I wrote those things into my stories. Whatever was happening on that screen that I was watching was what was going on in the ocean, unless there was something very specific happening inside of that scene. But that allowed me to create life and create reality because the ocean changed from one minute to the next. It was calm. It was not calm. It was all of those things. So in some of my other books, The Conspiracy of Jack Frost, the Jaded duology, some of the other things that I've written, I sit by windows and I pay attention. And whatever's happening outside, I'm writing into my story. Not always. Again, not in every scene. Sometimes I'm in the middle of something and I gotta finish what I was doing. But if they're just outside, if they're walking around, if stuff is happening, I can just implement what I'm experiencing, from the sounds to the way the sunlight is shifting to how the trees are moving. That just reminds me, oh, you need to write in a little world building. Just write in, just describe some of the things that you're already seeing. Then I don't have to think about it. If I have two characters who are outside and I'm having some dialogue, it's dialogue heavy, and I need to write in some world building, I can, in between those dialogue lines, I can just write the way that the tree moves. I can see it from my peripheral vision. I can just write that right in there. I can write about the birds I'm hearing and the different types of chirps that I'm hearing through my window. I can just implement real world situations into my writing, so I don't have to think about it. Unless there's a specific reason for it to be a certain way, if I just need to have something in there, if I just need to build up what's going on, why not use what's around me? Why do I then have to think through everything? Why do I have to create this mental scape inside of my mind that I then have to translate onto the page? Why not just use what I'm experiencing to build things up? It's not that serious if the scene doesn't require it. So I use my everyday weather. I truly do in the books that I'm writing to give it a little flavor, to add a little spice, to make sure it is real and authentic, because it really is authentic. I'm writing what I'm literally experiencing in the moment, if it applies to the scene that I'm working on. And you can do something like that as well to help build out your world building, to save you the mental taxation of having to think up the environment that they're in and figure out what is happening, and then remember to shift the sunlight and the wind and the crickets and the birds and the things. If you can just be there in that space and use that to then inform their writing, you've just taken a very big, heavy mental load off of yourself and allowed yourself the freedom to then focus on the dialogue and the rest of the world building and all the other things. So try it out and see how it works for you. Follow along for more tips on your writing and to help you navigate the world of publishing, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable year ever as an author, so that you can save yourself time and effort creating your content and live your best author life while also still having a life. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.